On my channel, I have a series that's called the Impossible series, and originally it was in quotation marks. Why? Because I kind of wanted to prove that almost any Pokemon challenge you could think of, if you tried hard enough, would be possible. As we found out, this isn't true. Some require luck so ridiculous no human could ever reasonably perform it, and others just are theoretically impossible due to the way the games work. Today we're going to be talking about one of those runs, how it is impossible, no matter what you do, to beat Pokemon Black or Pokemon White without taking damage. Now, damageless challenges are insane. I mean, the first person I know to perform one, at least on YouTube, was Game Champ. Their rule set was, something else. If they took damage at any point in a game where even your 100% accurate moves have a 1 in 256 chance to miss, they would reset to the beginning of the game. Which, that's dedication. The next person to perform one that I'm aware of is Smallant. Smallant played Platinum, and Platinum's a much more difficult game, although you don't have that 1 in 256 chance to miss at least. Now, Smallant changed the rule set a little bit. Smallant decided that if you took damage before the first gym, you'd have to reset to the beginning, but each gym would serve as a checkpoint. This allowed for a little bit more of a margin of error, a little less leveling up, and in a longer game like Platinum, just made for the run to be a little bit more enjoyable. And most damageless runs that I'm aware of that have been performed since have used the Smallant rule set as opposed to the Game Champ rule set, which it's understandable. However, even if you were to use my rule set, where you could save at any point just to see theoretically if it were possible, Black and White still never gonna happen. But why, Jaros? What makes these games so difficult? Is it Ghetsis? And the Elite Four? What difficult battle is so tough that it's impossible to get through damageless? Well, none of those. In fact, it's not the end of the game, but rather the very beginning. So, we can divide Pokemon games into 3 different categories. Games like Red and Blue, where the first thing you do is battle the rival. Games like Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, and Diamond, Pearl, where the first thing you do upon getting a Pokemon is battle a wild Pokemon, usually at a pretty low level. And finally, games like Gold and Silver, where you have a little bit of freedom between when your first mandatory battle is. Those games are in theory the easiest to do damageless because you can level up before your first difficult battle. Unsurprisingly, the most difficult games are the games where you have to fight the rival immediately, and Black and White are one of those games. As soon as you select your Pokemon, you have to battle first Bianca and then Sharon. So, is it the fact there are 2 rival battles that make this impossible? No, you're not going to battle Sharon. You're not going to defeat Bianca. But why is that? What makes Bianca so uniquely difficult? Well, what Pokemon she uses is determined by what you select. And the best Pokemon to select, in my opinion, is Tepig. As long as it outspeeds her Snivy, Tepig has the best attack, and therefore is likely to knock out Snivy in the least amount of turns. So you probably want a Tepig with max IVs in speed and something like an adamant nature. Hopefully, that will give Bianca just 3 turns to use moves, although it might be 4. So let's assume it's going to be 4 turns just for argument's sake. So Bianca has 4 turns to attack. That's a lot. And Bianca's Pokemon, no matter which it is going to have 2 attacks. All the Pokemon in this game start with Tackle and a move that lowers defense. Obviously, Tackle is bad, but at least it has a chance to miss, right? Wrong. In Generation 5, Tackle was buffed. Its base power goes from 35 to 50, and its accuracy goes from 95 to 100. And without the 1 in 256 Gen 1 miss chance, if Tackle is selected, it always hits. So we need Bianca to never go for Tackle. What are the odds of that? Well, let's assume 4 turns just for argument's sake. It's a 1 in 2 chance she goes for Tackle on turn 1. It's a 1 in 2 chance she goes for Tackle on turn 2. And so on and so forth. If you do the math, in theory, you should be able to defeat Bianca 1 out of every 16 battles, because that's the approximate odds that she goes for Tail Whip or Leer 4 consecutive times. Annoying, I guess, but not that bad. Way better than Generation 1 even, and that's what Game Champ did their run in. So what's going on? Why is this impossible? Well, if you've been watching the footage, you may have noticed something kind of odd. I've not beaten Bianca once, but that's not what's odd necessarily. What's odd is that I've never gotten past the first turn. That Bianca, even though we can't get 4 tail whips in a row, somehow keeps going for tackle. It's crazy good luck, you'd think. Or is it? Because I'm not the first one to attempt this. As far as I know, Point Crow was. And Point Crow apparently tried this for 200 attempts. But couldn't get a single attempt past the very first attack. No matter what Point Crow seemed to do, the rival always selected tackle. Now, maybe this was just an emulator glitch. Maybe it's one for me too. But I got bad news. I'm playing this on console. Yep, I'm using a regular original DS with a capture card installed into it. And I'm not able to defeat Bianca. Something's going wrong. This isn't an emulator glitch. There's something else happening. This is where Smallant comes in. Thankfully, as I was taking a break from one of my videos, I happened to tune into his stream where he was talking about exactly this. So shoutouts to him, but I thought this was interesting and probably not going to be something he could make into a video. So I thought I would share with you what he, Point Crow, and more importantly, @Sign, the famous Pokemon modder who has made some of the most interesting and most watched mods in Pokemon. What did they discover? Well, @Sign looked at the code. And what @Sign discovered is that the AI for the first rival fight is specifically programmed to only go for tackle on turn 1. It's not crazy luck Point Crow got, or an emulator glitch. It's not luck that I got. It's the way the game was designed. And so, if you want to do a damageless run of Black and White, you need to accept that it should start after the mandatory rival battles, which for some people would mean it's not possible. That's what it would mean for me. Now, I'm honestly curious if this is the only game in the franchise that is totally impossible. Ruby and Sapphire are close to impossible because you have to battle Poochyena, and Poochyena just knows tackle. But because tackle can miss 5% of the time, it is theoretically possible to beat those games damageless. This is because, unlike in Black and White version, Poochyena's tackle can miss. And at worst, with either Torchic or Mudkip, it should be a 3-hit KO to knock out the Poochyena, meaning you just need 2 consecutive tackle misses, which is about 1 in 300 odds, but that doesn't even count for the fact you could get maybe a critical hit. So the odds are actually better than that. But that's all I gotta say for this video. I've kind of enjoyed doing these shorter, more theoretical videos like the Reggie video and this one. So if I come across something else that's interesting, shout out to Game Champ for being the first to perform the challenge, and Smallant not just for performing the challenge in Platinum, but being an entertaining streamer and allowing me a break where you gave me a video idea. Best streamer ever. Their links are in the description, and I gotta go make more videos. Bye everyone.